Hi everybody. I got some feedback from some subscribers that really would like to have some audio comments added to the videos. That's why I'm going to add audio to these videos. In the audio comment I will explain what's happening. When there's time I will elaborate on specific techniques, tools, tasks, whatever. Today I worked together with my dad on the vertical stabilizer. We finished the horizontal stabilizer and we are now continuing with the vertical stabilizer. This is the tail part of the airplane that holds the rudder. As always, we start with the assembly of the parts and match drilling the spars and ribs. Just as the horizontal stabilizer, the vertical stabilizer also has a rear spar doubler that reinforces the construction. On the rear spar we attach the hinge brackets for the rudder. The next step is to make all the ribs straight. We have a special plier for this called a fluting plier. You can make small dents into the ribs and this way they get straighted. The ribs are not completely straight because the flanges are bent in the construction process. Now we can start with the construction of the frame, adding all ribs to the spar. We found that the front spar was not really connecting well to the ribs. One of the flanges was bent too much. We corrected this so the front spar fitted better to the ribs. We can now start with match drilling the hinges and the spar doubler to the rear spar. Once the rear spar is finished, we do the same for the front spar. With the frame clecoed together, we can now attach the skin to it. We have to be very careful because the skin is very thin and easily dent or bent. At this time we came to the conclusion that we didn't rounded off the front ribs enough, and in order to prevent damaging the skin we have to use the grinder to make the front ribs fit better in the skin. As soon as the skin is clecoed onto the frame we can start match drilling the holes of the skin. It's handy if you work with two persons, so one can drill while the other one can reposition the clecos. I'll elaborate on clecos and the tools to use them in a future video. For now I will say that clecos are these little silver rods that we use to attach parts temporarily to each other. Okay, finished drilling. Now we can disassemble everything again and start deburring and dimpling. Again, I will elaborate later on what deburring and dimpling is. Here working with two persons again is probably almost twice as fast because you can really separate tasks and do them in parallel. The reason why we dimple the skin is because the rivets need to be flush with the skin. To dimple the skin we use the DRDT2. There are other methods for it, but this one is a little bit more expensive but much faster and much easier. The chances of making mistakes is almost zero. The spars and the ribs are not able to dimple them with the DRDT2 because it's just too big, so we use the pneumatic squeezer for that one. The bottom holes in the rear spar doubler need to be countersunk to fit with the dimpled spar. This has to be flush because we need to attach it to the fuselage later in the project. In less than 4 hours we assembled everything, match drilled, deburred, dimpled, and got the whole vertical stabilizer ready for priming. In the next video I will prime all the parts. With a little luck I can already start with final assembly of the vertical stabilizer.